Hello all, welcome to our channel. So during the PCB design or EMI/EMC compliance activity, so we do hear that the inductance plays a crucial role, right? So the design engineers straight away uh, try to reduce the impedance of the PCB as much as possible so that the EMI/EMC issues can be eliminated, especially during the radiation that could happen out of the PCB, which might cause a failure of EMI/EMC. The inductance plays a crucial role. So we will talk about various aspects here and see how this particular inductance is going to affect our PCB. So we will talk about some of the major points. So inductance is generally represented by L, right? So the inductance of a particular trace decreases when there is a increase in the width of a particular trace. That means, example, let us take a trace. So this is a trace of x length, and then this is another trace which is little thicker, right? So this particular trace will have a lesser inductance than the one which has a thinner trace. So while there are many formulas associated with it, this is just for our information. So now when a PCB design engineer or electrical design engineer is working on a PCB, they can straight away increase the trace width as much as possible, right, to reduce the inductance, which is basically an enemy. But that is not possible because we have something called impedance, right? So we have to maintain that impedance. So based on the routing of either single-ended or differential traces, we need to maintain a particular width of a trace. Example, if you want a 50 ohm trace, you cannot increase the width as you like, otherwise that again leads to some other issues. So increasing the width of a particular trace to reduce the inductance is out of question, and adding to that, when you increase the length of the trace, as the trace length increases, the inductance increases. So what are all the scenarios to reduce the inductance here? So now definitely you cannot eliminate the longer trace lengths, right? That again depends on how much of the distance between the ICs we have to route. So we have to live with it. But when a signal passes through a particular trace, we know that there is a return current which passes to the source. Suppose if this is a source and this is a load, so the forward current is this way, and then the return current is flowing this way. So in this case, what is happening is we also have the inductance of the ground plane which comes into picture. So this is a ground plane because the return current passes through ground, right? So now this particular point, what the ground we are talking, has a significant impact on the inductance. Okay, so it is important that the PCB layout engineer controls as much the ground inductance as much as possible, so that a clean PCB layout comes in, because as we mentioned, length is not under our control, right? So here there are several scenarios. So if you have, example, a 8-layer PCB or a 4-layer PCB, whatever, so in these scenarios we know that all these will have multiple layers, and you can have a continuous ground plane, right? So a continuous ground plane meant lower inductance, because the inductance mainly depends on, as we mentioned, one is length, okay, and the second thing is the geometry of that particular copper that is there on the PCB. So when we say geometry here, so this geometry is like the dimensions, example, if the PCB has a bigger ground plane, right, what is the area of that, and then definitely the relative permittivity, so permeability, sorry. So all these three parameters play a role, but as we are talking about the PCB layout, we are not going into the properties. So mainly the length and the geometry. So as the geometry increases, that means the area of the ground plane, the copper that is laid out as a ground increases, the inductance gets reduced. So why this happens is, when there is a signal that is being routed and you have a ground plane underneath, the return path, from it's not just the return path of this particular signal, right? There will be number of signals that will be routed, and all are grounded to this single copper plane, which meant it's a single source and very nearest path to the ground. Now let us assume a scenario where you have one layer, and in the other layer, like example of a two-layer board, you have a ground plane here, small ground plane here, small ground plane here, and then you have some wire or something touching this, and then the return path is this way, and these are connected. Let us assume these are connected this way. Now what happens is, these this is a bigger copper area, this is a bigger copper area, this is a bigger copper area, but they are joined by a smaller traces or something, or a thicker trace, which is not adding up to the geometry, right? So that means the inductance is much less. So we have to live with these scenarios in the two-layer board. But in the four-layer board, what happens is, we can have a continuous ground plane, and from that plane we can have wires where we can ground them. So what finally we mean to say here is, the ground plane should not be split. This is what we hear. So when we say split, this is how it is. So when a signal passes between two ground planes, there is a split here, right? So that split causes the return path to take a longer route. If the return path takes a longer route, that means the loop area has increased. So which causes the common mode noise to increase, which increases the radiation from the board. As the noise increases, the radiation increases, right? Chance of radiation is high, right? So we have to remember this aspect. So the loop area of this particular ground plane is very important, and if you consider the variations of a current with respect to a inductor, the voltage developed across an inductor is nothing but L into dEI by dt, right? L into dEI by dt, right? So that means the variation of current causes voltage in an inductor, and that voltage variation is proportional to the amount of inductance. So even though there is a high current variation, if the inductance is lesser, the voltage developed is lesser. That means if you have a ground plane, okay, and when the ground current, the return path current is coming through the ground plane, the lower the inductance that is maintained, and if there is any variation in current, the voltage drop across this particular area is minimized. The lower the voltage drop, right, better it is from the EMI perspective. Any when we say common mode noise or any other noise, this is just not generated out of the blue, right? It is basically the left out. So to say it in a very simple terms, the left out voltages across the plane which cause this radiation. So the, the using this formula also we can understand why the inductance has to be reduced. So we try to explain it in a very simple way. The major points here are how the inductance varies, what are the factors the inductance depends on, and the loop inductance, how it is going to affect, and what are the best ways to have a ground. So and one more important scenario we have to mention here is the distance between the ground plane and the signal plane. This also plays a very important role while routing the while creating a stack up. We do have to take care. The lower the height, that means the nearest the ground plane to a particular signal, lower the inductance. So that is another important factor which affects, but again due to stack up considerations we cannot keep it as close as possible, right? So this is one more aspect. So while as we mentioned in the beginning, as we talk about EMI EMC on a whole, with respect to inductance, these are all the different things that come into picture. So one point is that when a PCB layout engineer starts routing, his entire focus should be on how to maintain that return path across that signal, and even during the stack up definition itself, ensure that the signals are properly covered with respect to ground. And definitely as the high speed scenario comes into picture, the EMI concerns increase further. So at lower frequencies definitely we may not see that many issues, but as at higher frequencies these concerns are little worrisome. Hope we try to provide some knowledge. Please post your comments. Please let us know if you have any concerns on this video. Please post if you feel any of particular points can be corrected. So this particular videos we are working for the providing understanding on different topics. Please like our video, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.